Did you know that most people live their lives completely backward? They believe that to have more, they need to grasp more. To be happy, they need to control more. To prosper, they need to go deeper into debt. But what if I told you that the secret to true prosperity lies in the exact opposite of all this? We live in a society that has conditioned us to believe our happiness depends on what we own, how much we control, and how tightly we hold on to what we consider ours. But this is an illusion that keeps us trapped in endless cycles of dissatisfaction and scarcity. Today, we're going to talk about the art of letting go and how this single skill can completely transform your financial, emotional, and spiritual life. It's not just a beautiful philosophy, but a practical principle that, when applied, reorganizes your entire life experience. My name is your name, and in the next few minutes, I'll share a revolutionary perspective on prosperity that goes against everything society teaches us. We'll explore why letting go is, in fact, the key to having more abundance in every aspect of life. Get ready to question everything you've believed about success, happiness, and prosperity, because what you're about to discover today could be the turning point you've been waiting for. The trap of possession. Let's start with an honest question. Why do people go into debt? If we made a purely rational, logical assessment, would anyone really go into debt to buy something they don't need? The answer is simple yet profound. In most cases, almost always, it's not because they don't have food to eat. It's not about basic survival needs. It's about more: an extra car, an extra house, extra clothes, an extra vacation, the latest smartphone, or the trendy brand name shoes. Look at your own life. How many purchases did you make in the last month that were truly necessary for your survival? And how many were driven by desires, comparisons, or a sense that you deserved it? It's all decided emotionally. Sales are impulsive, purchases are impulsive. Companies invest billions in neuroscience studies to pinpoint exactly which emotional triggers make you open your wallet. And do you know why this works so well? Because everything is designed to make people spend, buy, and go into debt. It's incredibly easy to induce spending, compulsion, or compensation through any means. Had a tough day? You deserve to treat yourself. Feeling inferior? This purchase will make you feel better. Want to impress someone? With this product, everyone will admire you. And the most interesting part is that, rationally, people know they shouldn't buy it. They know they don't need it. But there's a disconnect between what we know rationally and what we feel emotionally. Think of a situation where someone tells you, you need to improve. And immediately you think, I need to upgrade my phone to a newer model, or I need to buy new clothes, or I need to renovate my house. It's unbelievable, but it's real. When people think improving means upgrading their phone, car, or apartment, it doesn't even cross their mind that improving is internal, spiritual growth, personal development, cultivating deeper relationships, finding purpose, or growing in wisdom and compassion. They immediately associate it with something ego-driven, something external that can be bought. The subtle enslavement. And the moment someone gets that new phone, for 2 or 3 months, they're satisfied, until they need another one. Why? Because a newer model has been released. It's logical. Everything is designed this way, a perfectly orchestrated system. Every 6 months, a new model comes out with slightly better features or a tweaked design, and yours becomes obsolete. How does your ego feel in front of everyone else? You now have an outdated, old phone. Your friends have the latest model, and you feel left out, behind the times. So you buy a new one that lasts 6 months, then you need another. How could this not lead to debt? But let's pause for a moment to reflect. What real difference does it make to have one phone or another, model X or Y, or any material thing? No difference in terms of personal happiness. None. Think of an important purchase you made 2 years ago. Remember the euphoria, the anticipation before buying, the momentary satisfaction afterward? And today, does that thing still bring you the same happiness? You probably don't even think about it anymore, or it's gathering dust somewhere. This endless material chase is pure ego. It's slavery in practice, subtle but incredibly effective. You think you're free, but you're being controlled by forces you don't even notice. The point is to be happy, not to have temporary happiness through objects. The point is to be prosperous internally, not to have possessions that create the illusion of prosperity. But as long as the paradigm is about having, people will inevitably face problem after problem because it's a system that's never satisfied. The addiction to control. Beyond the addiction to possessing, there's another equally destructive addiction: the addiction to control. People expend enormous energy trying to control situations, other people, and outcomes that are beyond their control. Have you noticed how much time and energy you spend trying to make people behave the way you want? Trying to force situations to turn out exactly as you planned? Getting frustrated when things don't happen on your timeline or in your way? This is another aspect of the matrix we live in. We think that by controlling more, we'll have more security. But in reality, the more we try to control, the more anxious and frustrated we become, because life is fundamentally uncontrollable. Resistance to change. Let me share a real story that perfectly illustrates our resistance to letting go. There's someone I've been in contact with for 16, 17 years or more. For all that time, they've persisted in wanting, controlling, and clinging. Because I want it. It has to be this way. People have to behave the way I want. I'm the victim. They're doing it wrong. If they changed, I'd be happy. If the situation were different, I wouldn't have problems. And the most striking thing, every single day, it's explained in detail, patiently, that this is happening. Because of their attachment, their ego, their need to force others to behave a certain way. The solution is always the same. Just let go of everything and everyone, and the issue would resolve itself instantly. They even agree intellectually, saying, "You're right, I need to let go." But the next day, they repeat the same behavior. They complain about the same problems again. It's as if the previous day's conversation never happened. But here's the fascinating part. Whenever you try to explain the root of the problem, their behavior, their attitude, they change the subject. It's pure denial of reality. It's easier to keep suffering than to admit they're the cause of their own suffering. You explain problem X, they drop that topic and start complaining about problem Y. You explain Y, they drop it and move to Z. 16 years of this. It's astonishing how humans can stay in suffering by refusing the simple shift in perspective that would resolve everything. The cost of attachment. Imagine the drama. The person is suffering, suffering, suffering. And why? Because changing one attitude, just one, would stop the suffering and resolve all the problems. But they prefer to hold on to the drama, the victim story, the feeling that they're right and the world is wrong. They don't internalize the knowledge, the feeling, the lived experience needed to escape that situation. So they repeat it N times, over and over. It's like being in a prison where the key is in your hand, but you refuse to use it because that would mean admitting. You could have left all along. Attachment costs us our peace, our joy, our health, our relationships, our prosperity. We pay a steep price for clinging to things, people, and situations we can't control. The matrix of illusion. It's like in the movie, The Matrix. Living inside the matrix, there's no way out. You're subject to all the problems inherent in a false perception of reality. For example, all this materialism, not believing in life after death, reincarnation, or trusting in a higher intelligence, the whole. Within this matrix paradigm, being happy is literally impossible. In the matrix, you believe you're just this physical body, that when you die, it's all over, that there's no greater purpose, that you're alone in a hostile universe and must fight for everything. With these beliefs, how can you not live in constant anxiety and fear? There are moments. You go to a restaurant and order your favorite dish. It's a sensory experience. It gives you pleasure in that moment. You buy something you wanted. You feel temporary satisfaction. You receive a compliment. You feel good for a moment. And then, all the problems come back. The backdrop of life is problem after problem, with occasional peaks of pleasure here and there. But that's not life. Life is being stabilized at the top, in a state of constant happiness, peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. The true nature of reality. To understand the power of letting go, we need to understand our true nature. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. When you recognize this, everything changes. You realize your essence cannot be harmed, diminished, or need anything external to be complete. You are already whole. The problem is that we tie our happiness to temporary things: the job, the relationship, the bank account, social status. When these things change, and they always do, we think our happiness goes with them. The art of letting go. Letting go is profound wisdom. It's the most important thing for a being growing spiritually, learning to let go. When they master this, they take a giant leap in their evolution. But it's an art. Why? Because letting go doesn't mean giving up or being passive. Letting go isn't apathy or resignation. Letting go isn't abandoning dreams or goals. Letting go means being in the world but not of the world. It's the difference between participating in life and being controlled by life. Being of the world is being fully under the control of your surroundings. It's having the same perspective, paradigm, beliefs, fears, desires, and reactions as the collective unconscious. Being in the world but not of it means participating in life without being controlled by external circumstances. It's having your needs met without becoming a slave to desires. It's working toward your goals without neurotically clinging to outcomes. The paradox of prosperity. And here's the secret to prosperity, the great paradox. When you let go of the desperate need to have, the universe can flow through you. When you stop forcing, opportunities appear naturally. Someone who isn't desperate for money makes better decisions. They don't take just any job out of desperation, don't make any deal out of anxiety, don't sell themselves short because they're afraid they won't get anything else. They attract abundance because they're not vibrating in the energy of scarcity. They're not emanating desperation, neediness, or fear. They're centered, confident, and open to receiving. Think of the truly prosperous people you know, not the indebted ones trying to appear prosperous. They have a different energy. They're not chasing money like someone drowning chases air. They're relaxed, focused, letting opportunities come to them. The magnetism of abundance. When you let go, you stop repelling abundance. Yes, you read that right. Repelling. The energy of desperation, attachment, and compulsive need repels what we want most. It's like trying to hold water with clenched fists. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips away. But when you relax your hands, forming a cup, the water stays naturally. The levels of letting go. There are different levels of letting go, and it's important to understand each one. Level 1. Letting go of material objects. Start detaching from things you don't use, that you hold onto for security or status. Discover that your happiness doesn't diminish when you have fewer things. Level 2. Letting go of outcomes. Work diligently toward your goals, but without neurotically clinging to the results. Understand that you control the effort, not the outcome. Level 3. Letting go of people. Love without possessing. Allow people to be themselves, follow their own paths, and make their own choices, even when it doesn't align with what you'd like. Level 4. Letting go of the past. Stop carrying grudges, resentments, or regrets. Realize the past only exists in your mind, and you can choose to free yourself from it at any moment. Level 5. Letting go of the future. Stop living in anxiety about what might happen. Trust that you have the inner resources to handle whatever life brings. Level 6. Letting go of a fixed identity. Understand that you are not your opinions, social roles, successes, or failures. You are far greater than any limited identity. The practical path. How do you start practicing the art of letting go? Here's a practical, gradual path. First step. Recognize when you're clinging to something, a situation, a person, a specific outcome, an opinion, an object. Notice the physical tension it creates in your body. Attachment always generates bodily tension. Second step. Understand that you don't control other people or all circumstances. This is a fundamental truth our culture teaches us to deny. But when you truly accept it, immense peace arises. Third step. Practice surrender. It's not about giving up on your dreams. It's about surrendering the how and when to a higher intelligence. It's saying, I do my part with dedication, but I trust there's a timing and a way better than I can imagine. Fourth step. Observe your compulsive thoughts. All attachment creates repetitive thoughts and mental rumination. When you notice this, simply observe without identifying with the thoughts. Fifth step. Cultivate gratitude for what you already have. Gratitude is the perfect antidote to the energy of scarcity. When you truly appreciate what's already in your life, you stop living in lack. The real transformation. When you truly let go, your life changes completely. It's not a small change. It's a radical transformation of your experience, of being alive. The problems that seemed enormous resolve themselves. Why? Because you stop fueling them with your mental and emotional energy. You stop creating resistance, and resistance is what keeps problems alive. The opportunities you were forcing appear naturally. When you're not desperate, you see possibilities you didn't see before. Your intuition becomes clearer, your decisions more accurate. Prosperity flows effortlessly. This doesn't mean you don't work. It means your work comes from a place of inspiration and joy, not fear and lack. You step off the emotional roller coaster of highs and lows and settle into a constant state of well-being and abundance. Your happiness no longer depends on circumstances.